What's up, guys? Welcome to another gardening video on my channel. My name is Spunks. Guys, spring is almost here. I can't even explain to you my excitement. I'm excited. Huh? I hope you guys are excited for spring. You're excited to plant. But before that, we have to look after the soil, guys. The soil is the most important part. So today, I thought that I would show you 5 ways, 5 faith 5 ways that you can improve your soil in winter in preparation for spring. So yeah, guys, I hope you enjoy, and I hope you're excited as I am for spring. And let's get it, man. Let's just do what it gotta do. Okay, so first thing, we have mulching. And I've spoken about mulching a lot of times because it's probably my favorite thing to do, because it's so simple and I feel like it really benefits the garden in such a massive way. So if you look at my garden right now, okay, so if you look here, right, I covered all here with leaves and I think some grass clippings. And then if you dig inside, here, I hope you guys will be able to see. Look at the soil. The soil is just so magnificent. And it also protects, the mulch also protects the, look at the soil. It also protects the worms and the beneficial microbes in there. I mean, if you look here, these white, I don't know if you guys can see these white things here. If you look here, this white thing is bacteria that breaks down all the leaves and adds to the soil. So all of these, like all these white strands, I mean, the soil, for me, look at that, because I've just left it like this, and it's just gonna keep breaking down, and these leaves are gonna keep breaking down. I even put boxes, cardboard, anything that really breaks down will be beneficial. So mulch is basically putting any brown material such as grass clippings, leaves, anything that will add nitrogen to the garden. So why I like mulch so much is because it protects the soil when you are not there. So when you leave the soil bare, it exposes itself to the sun, and the sun will basically take out all that moisture from that soil, from the topsoil, and then maybe leave some water at the bottom. But when you have a mulch, the mulch protects the soil so that it keeps in a lot more moisture than it would usually keep if it was just bare. And another reason is, so when it rains and then you have a mulch on, it keeps the soil moist for a longer period of time, as compared if you had it just bare. And then another reason, you see how many reasons I like. Look at that, man. Mulch, just do the mulch. Another reason is because when you have mulch, slowly over time the mulch decomposes. It decomposes, and then it forms part of the soil, making it more rich, making it softer, so that's really why, and for me, mulching is it's a must do. It's a must do, right? So number 1, mulch. And then number 2, we have cover crops. Now cover crops is basically the same type of idea as with the mulch. It's just that now you actually using crops to cover your soil. How I did that. Look at that, how I did. Yeah. So that's why they're called cover crops, because they are crops that grow in winter that are used to protect your soil during winter. Things like clover. I know clover is a weed in South Africa, and I have some, and it's a good way of actually just covering the soil without it becoming too invasive, because after that, after the winter period has gone, then you can just cover it with something or take it out and then add it to the soil after you've done. You even get some cover crops that are nitrogen fixers, so they'll if your garden is lacking in nitrogen, you can use those to get some more nitrogen in your garden. And yeah, man, I think I'm just not as knowledgeable about cover crops as people that actually use them. So if you guys can educate me on some of the cover crops that I could use, and the ones that will be beneficial, just put it in the comments. Just do one thing. So at number 3, we have root crops. I know you're probably wondering, what? Root crops? Listen. Okay, so things like carrots, beets, possibly onions. So basically, they are my own diggers, I would say. They are organic diggers of the soil. They make the soil a lot softer. My reasoning behind growing carrots in the same area is because carrots, as they grow, they aerate the ground, and they basically massage or dig into the ground, right? Making the soil a lot softer. So as I'm growing, so let me say, for example, when I first grew carrots in the first year of me growing, I literally had the smallest carrots. And then then the next year I grew, and they actually got a bit bigger, They're nothing to write home about, but they were actually, for me, I was really happy about that. So I can see that as the carrots are actually doing the job of aerating, they are making the soil softer, they are basically digging in a non-invasive way, as I would say with tilling. With tilling, I think it's very aggressive, but with the way that carrots do it, it's just kind of the topsoil, and it's not as aggressive. Another crop is potatoes and beets. With potatoes, they grow in tubers. They push out the soil. They are making that soil softer, and they're also aerating that soil. Same with beets. They're aerating and pushing out the soil. They're basically massaging. they are basically massaging the soil. They are our own massages of the soil, making it softer, making it more supple, making it aerated, making it a lot more productive for the next soil to come in. So definitely, I really hope that I've kind of been able to explain to you the reasoning for why I'm saying root crops, but I'm finding it a bit hard to explain. But yeah, man, root crops, I hope you understand. So at number 4, we have organic matter. This is my favorite. This is my easiest. I keep saying that for everything, really. Organic matter is basically putting banana peels, eggshells, food scraps, basically any food scraps that you have, and putting them into the garden. This is probably the most efficient way of making your soil a lot softer and improving your soil, because now you're actually adding organic matter that's going to add moisture, that's going to provide worms, that's going to give bacteria, beneficial bacteria, that's going to come in and break that all down. So I definitely think organic matter, my favorite. So right now I have some tea bags. So I'm going to put this in the garden, and I don't know if you've seen, but as you can see here, I have some banana peels and orange peels just, you know, just decomposing in the garden. Every time I take out the rubbish, if I find some like banana peels or whatever, something that's organic, even pap, so I don't know, yeah, I'm sure the South Africans know what pap is, but like even pap, I put it in there. The only problem with pap is that the birds like it as well, so that's the only issue, but I think that's also a good resource. So with organic matter, you can either bury it or just put it on the soil. Burying it obviously will be a lot quicker to decompose because it's covered. But if you're feeling lazy, like I do sometimes, you can just lay it on the actual ground, and it will decompose. Here, I'm just gonna dig up a little. I'm just gonna dig up a little space here. Just gonna dig up a little space, and then we'll put the tea bags in there. I don't really like putting the whole tea bags because I'm not sure if these things can decompose. So I take out the insides of the tea bag. So just a little hole there, and then I just plonk. Yeah. And then you just cover it up, and that should be good enough. So with burying of organic matter and putting it on top of the soil, there's some things that you shouldn't be burying, and also there are a multitude of different things that you can bury that, you know, I haven't mentioned. That so if you want to, you know, if you want to see a video on that, if you want to get a picture of what you can and cannot bury, put it in the comments, just, you know. And then last but not least, we have composting. I'm sure all of you guys know what composting is. If you haven't seen me like refer to my composting bin and what, it's because I don't have one. Yes, I know. I know I don't have one. But guys, for me, I've really tried with composting. I've tried it 2 times, and for me, I think I prefer composting on the actual ground as compared to making it somewhere and then turning it and then putting it in here, you know. But if you want really nice soil, that's the perfect way to get it with composting. So with composting, you need a nice balance of greens and browns. Browns are basically leaves, grass clippings, and then you have the green, which is food scraps, you know, the eggshells, the orange peels, you know, all the banana peels, all of that. That's the greens. So you need to find a good balance of those two. So basically how you would start is maybe take a nice part of the garden and plant on top of that ground that you have, so that the worms and any other beneficial insects can come in and easily get access to the compost. So then you start in layers. You would take the greens, let's say for example, you take the greens, put it in a layer, then take the browns, put that on top of that layer, and then water that, thoroughly water that, and then repeat the process until you're done. And then every maybe week or 2, come and then turn that to aerate the compost, to get some air into the compost. So I think that's like the easiest way. Or you can get a bin that actually is easier to turn those things, you know. You can get like those knobs to get a proper aeration. And yeah, man, you continuously do that until you feel like, okay, this is nice soil, and then you put that on top of the soil that you have in your garden. You know, pretty simple. If I didn't explain it properly, please, you know, correct me. Please correct me, or go on Google, Mr. Google Eyes, and see if you like those explanations better. I really do hope this was helpful for you guys. Spring is on the way, but let's take care of that soil. Okay, so I'm gonna just leave you guys with me putting on some mulch on the garden, you know, and I'll see you in my next video. I hope you enjoyed. Love, peace, and grow something.